What's up guys, MrBayeasy here, and today we have a bit of a different video. I'm going to be doing a conference call with Shady. You may have seen him in my live streams or possibly even in my Halo 2 anniversary playthrough. He was in there towards the end of the story, so you can check that out on the video now if you'd like to. But either way, today's topic is basically going to be getting his viewpoint rather than mine. You've heard what I've had to say a lot. Getting his viewpoint from, you know, someone who doesn't play Halo as much. So Shady, really, I just want you to describe your whole situation. Say hi, by the way.
Hi.
I'd like you to describe your whole situation with Halo, your whole experience with it in the past, and, you know, where you are in terms of that. And because you do play Call of Duty, right?
Yep.
You've played it for quite a bit, if I'm not mistaken. So just kind of tell them, you know, what your whole experience has been like with Halo and kind of the ratio to which you've played Call of Duty to Halo in the past.
Okay. So I've always played Call of Duty, and the ratio I would say is like 60% Call of Duty, 40% Halo. And it's just, I guess the learning curve was much easier for Call of Duty, so I got into it much faster. But Halo is a lot more fun now for me, because it actually, you know, the skill for the game is much higher, I guess.
Right, and you recently purchased the Master Chief Collection, so really quick, let's just touch on that. What is, you know, what's your experience been like with that? Because I know in the past, like you said, you've played them individually. Now that they're all in one collection and they're on the same platform as other Call of Duties, do you find yourself enjoying it more? I don't want to have you play favorites, but, you know, do you find yourself having more fun on it, and for what reason?
Yeah, like, I have more fun on Halo now because, like, the learning curve's higher, so it's, like, more rewarding to play, and I don't want to be rewarded playing Call of Duty when all you have to do is boost around now. Okay,
so a higher competition, a higher challenge.
Yeah.
Right, okay, so the reason I'm making this video, by the way, guys, is because I do want a secondary perspective. Some could say that my opinion's a bit biased because Halo is my favorite shooter. So knowing what you know now about his whole situation, I want it to be really apparent that I in no way, you know, want his opinion to be influenced by mine. So, Shady, as we go forward here, I do want to make it clear that, you know, definitely say what's on your mind, say what you are, what you're really feeling. All right.
All right.
So, basically, the first thing I want to ask you is, what would you want as someone who, up until recently, hasn't had a lot of experience? Okay, definitely not as much as me in terms of how much I played the game. What would you like to see in Halo?
Well, some of the maps are really big, and so like, it will take me forever to get there, so like for like bigger maps, like higher like movement speed, you know?
Okay. All right. And now one of the things we should mention here is we play a lot of Halo 2, or we play a lot of the Master Chief Collection together. One of the things we don't play a lot of is Halo 4, which actually does have sprint in it. Now being a Call of Duty player, how do you feel about sprint? Are you more comfortable coming to a game with sprint? I know you said you had fun on Halo, but would you feel a bit more at home right off the bat if sprint was in the game?
Yeah, like, it doesn't have to be like on the smaller maps, but if it's like a big map and, you know, I have to walk the entire way, you know, I guess it'd be like a little bit boring, you know what I'm saying, if there's no gunfights in the middle of it.
Right, right. So basically on bigger maps, and a lot of, you know, bigger maps are fun. A lot of people like to play them. Big Team Battle is one of the more popular playlists in the Halo genre. So, you know, that's definitely an important thing to mention. So, and so you didn't get a chance to play the beta, right?
No.
And because of that, you didn't see, you know, you're saying it can be a bit slow. So some of the things that were introduced in the beta were things like clamber, where you can climb up walls. You know how before you'd have to do crouch jumps and everything to get onto certain ledges?
Yeah.
No longer do you need to do that. You can just climb up the wall if it's, you know, if you can reach it with your hands.
Okay.
You know, sprinting is in the game and all that stuff. So as those additions are in the game, and I know you haven't had experience with it, but do you feel like you'd enjoy it a bit better? Do you want Halo to be a bit more, you know, Call of Duty and other genre friendly, and, you know, if so, would that make you more attracted to getting the game or playing it?
Well, it doesn't have to be like Call of Duty friendly, but as long as like I can like it's more fast paced, because like sometimes Halo will be like really fast paced, but sometimes it'll be just the opposite. You know what I'm saying?
Right. It's like night or day.
Yeah.
So yeah, and definitely clamber and sprinting, of course, have the potential to speed it up pretty vastly. So there's that. And you know, I know you haven't had much experience with it, but clamber, what's your whole take on that? You know, I know you know, just imagine being able to move wherever you want on the map. Do you feel like, in your opinion, as someone who hasn't played that much and someone who's played competitive Call of Duty, so you do kind of know this, you played Advanced Warfare, so it's something you're familiar with. Do you think that that's a balancing issue when you think of Halo?
Well, yeah,
from a competitive standpoint.
Well,
I mean, just your opinion. You
Yeah,
know
I
what I
think
mean?
you could balance some things like if you want to get to like a certain place faster, and you didn't want to have to go around the entire map. I guess it could make it easier, but I don't know if it would balance it.
Okay,
Definitely, you
that
know what I'm
makes
saying?
sense. Yeah, I definitely understand what you're saying. So, aside from what you just said, is there possibly anything else? Doesn't even have to be multiplayer. You know, from campaign to Forge or custom games. What would you want to see in Halo in the future?
Well, you mentioned in one of your videos camos, like dynamic camos,
Okay.
and like I think that would like bring in like a more alluring factor to like newer players. You know
Right,
what I'm
it's
saying?
fun. You know, it's all
Yeah.
in good fun. Yeah, and you know, I know Advanced Warfare is kind of the leading, basically the leading people with in terms of camos. Call of Duty in general, I should say. The dynamic camos have been in the past. Black Ops 2 had some dynamic camos where they're just kind of moving around, and with the take that Advanced Warfare had on it, where you can get higher power weapons and all that stuff. Do you necessarily think that that is fair? Because I wouldn't want to see that, and me personally, I wouldn't want to see that in another game. But do you think it has a place in Halo? So I have never really made a commentary on that, so let's just get your opinion on it.
Well, I think like the camos would, but I don't think like changing gun damage, accuracy, like all that.
Right.
You know?
Yeah, I mean,
It
there's already a
was
bit of imbalance, in my opinion. There's already a bit of imbalance introduced just naturally with the different variations in guns, and then you would throw in all the variations of the same gun. In my opinion, would get a bit crazy. So,
yeah.
Now, going back really quick before we close this off, you said it felt a bit slow paced to you. Can you just elaborate on that a little bit? I know it's kind of obvious, but just kind of elaborate on the feeling you have when you're playing the game in a game where it's slow paced. Like, let's just imagine you're in a match and it is slow paced at that moment.
Well, like I'm
Are you
going
bored? Are you upset? Or what is it?
Well, sometimes like I'll be going across, I'm looking for somebody to go, and it's just not. It's like I guess like I get bored, and
So it's definitely bored. Like above
Yeah.
all else, you would say bored.
yeah, and like I guess I'll get frustrated for not being able to find anybody. You know?
Okay, and from now that you have a bunch of games to play, obviously you have a collection of games, and if you experience enough of those games, do you feel like discouraged to play the game or what? I mean, I don't want to put words in your mouth. So what would you feel like if you had enough of those games, maybe in a row or maybe not even in a row, but over the course of 10 games, let's say you had maybe 5 or 6 that were slower than you would have liked. Would you consider getting off the game and playing something else?
Yeah. I mean, it depends.
I mean,
like
truthfully, what your opinion is, and I really want to know.
if like I wasn't having a good time, I'd get off. But if it wasn't all that bad, if I
Right.
could deal with it and it wasn't like to the point where I'm getting mad at myself, I'd stay
Okay.
on. But, like
Alright.
if I was getting angry, I wouldn't want to play if I'm not having fun.
Right, yeah, and so I just want to really quick say that this is a really important video, guys, because again, up until recently, I want to say, because he has been playing quite a bit with the addition of the Master Chief Collection, but up until recently, he's had more Call of Duty experience, and I played competitive with him in the past. We played a lot of Call of Duty together in the past. He's had a lot of Call of Duty experience. Coming to Halo, it's really important. His opinion definitely does matter here, because this is exactly what I've been saying in the past, where basically, someone coming from a different game, we need to kind of appease to them a little bit more. Now, I know that it's not to the extremes that I sometimes propose it might be, but right here he's saying, he's bored. Unless he's having fun. Otherwise, maybe he's getting a lot of kills. Maybe he's dominating. I don't know, but that's essentially how he feels. He might consider getting off the game, and that's kind of what we need as a community, is to introduce new players. I mean, would you say that's true? Would you want? I mean, now that you've played it, I know you're not like a diehard Halo fan from the very beginning, but now that you've played it, would you want to see more newer players try out Halo and possibly even stay on Halo and play and enjoy it?
Well, yeah, because it's a lot of fun. As once you get like grasp the learning curve, it's really rewarding. Because
Right.
your hard efforts, getting your connecting on your shots, getting like all your plays, it's really fun.
Right, and that whole team aspect is really important. I mean, it's important in other games as well, but when it comes to Halo, that really is a crucial factor. And yeah, so like I said, and honestly, the learning curve, for better or worse, is a little bit easier in the newer games because of sprint and all that stuff, and the fact that you can maneuver quite similarly to other games like Call of Duty. I think it makes it a bit more appeasing. So thank you, Shady, for coming out and letting everybody know really how you feel and your whole standpoint on it from a person who, I don't want to be offensive, but someone who hasn't played Halo a lot up until now. You've had some experience here and there, but primarily Call of Duty was the game you decided to play a lot. So thank you for that, guys. You're definitely welcome welcome to see, or you're definitely going to see him in my live streams and my future playthroughs. You know, Shady, would you like to say anything else before we wrap it up here?
No, not really.
Okay, well, with that being said, guys, I hope you enjoyed. Rate the video what you think it deserved, and if you'd like to become a Sage in training, make sure you subscribe today. This has been MrBayeasy, your favorite Sage, and as always, I'll see you in the next video.